with a quick review for this book. That will never work. I'm gonna give this book 3 out of 5. So, you're reading pretty well. The story is interesting about how Netflix rose. It was the very beginning of how Netflix rose to power. Very interesting how everything worked out. I always like reading about those stories because then you understand that things were rough. There was no easy path. Um, there is no easy money, and it was not certain at any point. Right now you think, oh, Netflix was such a great idea, but back then it was not such a great idea, and it was a lot of uncertainty involved and a lot of bumps along the way. So that's why I like reading about it. One thing I didn't like about the book is it ended before I think Netflix became what it is today, before streaming. So I think the streaming part was not. Maybe he left the company before the streaming part, but for me it was the most interesting part that I was waiting for and haven't got any. But other than that, there was some interesting information. I didn't enjoy it very much. That's why it's a 3, but it's a solid book. Let's see the notes, even though there is not too many of them. Some business ideas have liability issues, and some are too expensive. So something we have to keep in mind: liability, and if it's too expensive. So if it's too expensive, it's a problem. When people invest money, they're more likely to provide honest feedback because they're invested, and now it's important for them, and they're more likely to really say what they mean or what they think. When launched, their servers kept crashing. They had a lot of bumps. That's one of the bumps. Their servers kept crashing because they didn't anticipate the amount of users. Cost of getting a new customer is a very important figure, and their cost was very high. And if it keeps going too high, that's often not very sustainable. The subscription model was thought to be a failure but turned out as a success. Everyone at the company thought it's a bad idea. Subscriptions were not popular when they started, and everyone thought it was going to be a failure, but they took it anyway because they didn't have much other ideas. It turned out to be a great success. The last one, by using small hubs around the country, they were able to offer next day deliveries. They started that they were not the pioneers of small hubs, but they opened small stores around the country, and that would enable them to do very quick deliveries that somewhat saved the business. So as for the notes, there is not much notes because I haven't learned a great deal of information here. It's more about the story. It's kind of a memoir. I look at it more as fiction. It's not fiction, obviously, because it's reality based, but for me, it's more treated as fiction. But again, there is interesting parts if you're interested in how Netflix rose to power. So that's going to be a 3 out of 5. Thank you.